Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial we will be learning how to validate HTML form using JavaScript. So this form validation, it is very necessary when we want to validate different values entered by the user and different form fields, like whether the user have entered a particular form fields or whether the user have entered the correct email format, or whether the different buzzwords have entered same or not, and so on. And with the introduction of HTML5, it makes us easier to uh, validate different form fields using a required attribute, which we have learned in our previous materials in classes. So uh, instead of those HTML5 required validations, there are some form fields which cannot be achieved by using HTML5 alone. So today we will try to look onto some examples through which we can validate some form fields. So since we have already learned the basic structure of HTML, I won't be starting from the very beginning. I will just straight we get into the forms and then the script. Now first of all, let us try to look into a very small examples on form validations using checkboxes and HTML form. So out here what we are going to do is we will try to create a checkbox using HTML forms, and after that, using JavaScript, we will try to validate whether that particular checkboxes have been checked or not. So first of all, let's try to create a sample HTML form. So the tag is form. After that, let's give a name to this particular form. Let's say my form. So out here you can give any form name as you wish. So I'll give my form. After that, let's write, instead of let's write checkmate checker. Okay, after that, let's try to create a checkbox. So input type is equal to it is checkbox. After that, let's give a name to this form field. So let's try to give checker. So these names, they are used to identify a particular form fields or particular area within our HTML documents and within our HTML forms. So these names, you can give any name. After that, let's give one line break. Okay, after that, let's try to create a one button. So button. After that, let's write a small JavaScript on click is equal to, let's write validation. I will come back to this later on after we write our JavaScript. After that, check now what will be written inside the button or the button name. Okay, so button on click validation, check now. So let's say we are done with our form. Okay, so let's save this one. File save as. I will save it in my desktop, and then I will write check to HTML. Okay, now if we view it inside our browser, have that check me. After that we have a button, out here we have a checkbox. After that we have a button here. So right now, since we did not edit any JavaScript, it does not show any output now. So let's write something here instead of leaving it blank. So let's just write check me. Okay, after that we have one select button. Now let's go back and then write our JavaScript. So to write your JavaScript code, you can write anywhere inside your HTML documents. So let's go inside this heading tag. After let's write inside our head tag our JavaScript code here to validate our HTML form here. So as we have discussed in our previous class, to write an JavaScript, the HTML tag or the tag used is script. Now after that, first of all, we will create a function to activate this one. That means whenever we click this button, a function should be executed to run our JavaScript code. So the keyword used to declare a function is function. After that, we have to give a function name. So you can give any function name out here, but it should not start with a number or else a capital letter, and then you can give any name as you wish. We will be learning what is a function in our next classes. So for now, a function means it is a block of JavaScript code which will be executed when the user asks for it or when we want to use it. So out here I have written function keyword. That means I am going to write a function, and then this is the function name. This is the syntax to write a declare a function name. So out here I have written function validation. So out here button on click, since I want to execute that particular JavaScript code, make sure to write the same name as this one. If you write here validation, you have to write the same out here, because when we click that button we want to execute this JavaScript code. Okay, now right after function we have to give one opening brace. Now by using if statement, which we have learned in our previous classes, let's try to validate this one, whether the user have checked that particular checkbox or not. So if document dot, after that we have to write our form name. Out here my form name is my form. You can give any name, my form dot, right? After that, inside my form we have one checkboxes. The checkbox's name is checker, right? So my form dot checker dot check. All right, so we are by using if statements inside my form, inside this form, with a checkbox name with a checker, we are finding out whether it is checked or not. So if it is checked, it will give us an alert. Let's say yes, it is checked, none. Now for example, if you check the checkboxes and click this button, it will give us an alert, this one. But if we click that button without checking the boxes, it will give us an alert, else alert, let's say it is not checked. Alright, after that, since we have open only one curly braces, let's close it out here. After that, let's close our JavaScript. So that's it. Now let's save this one. Let's go back to our browser. Let's refresh it. After that, when I click this button, it will activate my JavaScript code. When I click that button, it will activate that JavaScript function validation, which is written out here. So when this function is executed, the corresponding lines will get executed again under that function. So let's try to click here without checking the checkboxes. So it will show an alert it is not checked. That means since by using this if statement we are checking whether it is checked or not. If it is checked, it will display this one, or else if it is not checked, it will show us this one. So since we did not check anything, it is giving us this alert message, it is not checked. Okay, now let's check after taking this one. After that, if we click, it will give us an alert message that it is checked. So that's how JavaScript validation can be used. So to perform that one, if you want it for more checkboxes, you can give on adding more out here by giving a different name, and then by following the same steps out here. Okay, now after that, let's try to do it another exercise. So let's remove this one. I will remove my script. Now another practical exercise, what we are going to do is, let us try to create two form fields, one to enter a password and then another one is to re-enter that same password. Now for example, if the user have entered the same password, it will show us an alert that it have entered the same password, or else if the user have entered a different password, it will display that the password is not same. So first of all, let us try to create a form again. So let's give form. After that, we have to give a name to that particular form. So name is equal, let's try to use the same form name. You can give anything as we have said, as I have said before. I'll give my form. After that, inside my form, let's say please enter password. Okay, after that, let's give one line break br. After that, input type is equal to password. Since we are going to do it with password, we will give the input type as password. After that, let's give a name to this one. Let's give it, let's say password 1. Alright. After that, if you want to place holder, if you want to give it placeholder, you can give it. If you do not want, you can just leave it as it is. Okay, so placeholder is equal to enter password. Okay, now we have created one password field. After that, let's create another one. Input type is equal to password. After that, now the name should be different, so let's give password 2. Alright, if you want to give a placeholder here also, you can give it. Let's write render password. Alright, after that, same as our previous exercise, let's create one button. After that, when we click that button on click is equal to, we have to activate a function. So what function should we give? Let's try my function, or else password validator. Alright, that means our function name should be password validator. Let's write submit here. After that, let's close our button. Now let's save this one, file, save as. After that, let's say password.html. okay, now let's try to view the output. Okay, now we already have our password field. Right now we have not written any JavaScript code, so it will not show us any validation right now. So let's go ahead and then write our JavaScript to validate whether the user have entered the same password here or not by using JavaScript. So let's write inside our heading tag. The tag is script. Alright, after that, right after script, let's try to create a function. So out here I have given this function as password validator, so I'll copy this one, password validator. After that, right after function, we have to give one opening curly brace. Okay, now after that, let's declare two different variables for this password 1 and then password 2. So let's write variable, instead of this one, let's try to write first password is equal to document dot my form dot password1 dot value. So that means the value for the first variable, for this one, for this first password variable, the value should be from my form password1 value. That means inside my form with the name password1. That means whatever the value the user have entered out here, that particular value will be stored in our variable password. That means we are retrieving the value of password 1 from my form. Alright, now let's create another variable for the second password field. Let's give second password. So while declaring your variable name, function name, you can give anything, but make sure that you give a little bit relevant name, so as to make it easier to remember, and then it will be easier for you to use. After that, my password 2. After that, value. The name of the second password field is password 2. That's why I'm writing out here. So that means whatever the user have entered, that value will be stored in this second password. So now we have a two password now. So let's, by using if statement, let us try to validate that one. So if, right, first password is equal to second password. So it is simple. If the first password and then the second password is same, or if they are equal, let's give one opening brace again. It will alert, let's say the password is same. Alright, so if the password is same, it will give us an alert message that the password is same. Now that is the end of our first if statement, so let's close that one. Let's give enter, or else let's give one else, opening brace again. It will give us an alert message that, let's say, the password does not. Now since it is giving us an error message, so let's write return false. After that, let's close 2. So make sure that 1 2 3, I've opened 3 curly braces, I have to close 1 2 and 3. Okay, that's it. After that, let's close our script. Let's save this one, let's go back and then let's check it here. Okay, now let's say I have entered 1 2. After that, I will enter 1 2 3 4 and then 5. It will give me an error alert message that the password does not match. Again, let's try to enter 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5. So it should give me that the password is same. So now the password is same. That's how we can validate whether the user have entered the same password or not. So by using if statement, if the first password is equal to second password, it will give us an alert message this one, or else if it is different, it will give us an error message this one. So that's how we can validate. Okay, after the password validation, let's try another example. I will remove my script, I will remove my form. After that, right now let's try to validate text field where the user have to enter a name, and then after that let's try to create a password where we should validate the password should be greater than, let's say, 6. That means if the user have entered a password value that is lesser than 6, it will give us a message that the password is too short, or if it is exceeding 6, it will not show any error message. So let's go inside this body, let's create one form. After that, let's instead of my form, let's try to use a different form name again. So let's just write form validation. Alright, so now my form name is form validation. Now let's say enter your name. Okay, so let's give one line break. Let's say input type is text. After that, let's give a name to this field. So let's say f name. So let's say first name. Alright, so that is name. After that, let's say enter password. Input type is equal to, it should be password. After that, let's give a name as instead of pwd, let's just write in short password. Alright, now after that, if you want to give a placeholder, let's write minimum 6 characters. Let's say minimum 6 characters, CHER, minimum 6 characters. Alright, after that, let's give one PR. After that, same as before, let's create one button. After that, when we click that button, it should activate a function. Let's write my function. So you can give any function name. After that, let's say register the value inside our button. Okay, now let's save this one, file save as, let me give form.html instead of form1.html. okay, let's run it, see it inside our browser. So we have one field, enter our name and then the password, minimum 6 characters. After that we have one button here. So let's go ahead and enter the JavaScript code to validate whether the user have entered this one, or else whether the user have entered a minimum 6 characters in the password or not. So let's go ahead and then write the script deck. After that, same as before, let's create one function. After that, I have given out here the function name as my function. Alright, now let's give one opening brace here. After that, since we are going to validate two fields, the name field and then after that the password field, we have to create two variables. So variable, after that let's say name. After that, document dot, right now I have given my form name as form validation. So inside my form, that is my form name dot, I have given the first form field name as fname. So fname dot value. Alright, so same as before, inside this variable name it will store the value from my form validation form with an input field name as fname. That particular value, whatever the user have entered in that particular text box, that value will be stored in our variable name. Alright, now variable, let's say password is equal to document dot form validation dot, after that we have given the password name as pwd. Okay, so pwd. After that, since we are going to get the value of that one, let's do it like this. Alright, now let's validate using if statement. If, right, so name, we are referring to this variable name. If name is equal to null, that means if the user does not enter any value, or name is equal to if the user leave it blank like this, right? That means if that particular field is null or it is empty or the user does not enter anything, it will give us an alert message that, let's say, name field can be empty. Alright, so if the user left that username blank, it will give an alert message that name field can be empty. So since it is an error, let's return false. Alright, after that, since we are done with that if statement block, let's close it, that one. After that, let's try to validate the password field. Else if the value of this password is smaller than 6, so if you want to validate for 10 value or 11 value, you can give according to that one. It will give us an alert message, let's say minimum password length should be 6. Alright, so if the user have entered a password length that is smaller than 6, it will display this alert message. After After that, let's say return false. After that, let's close our closing braces. So make sure how many curly braces bracket you have opened, that much we have to close it. Alright, now after that, let's close my script. Okay, now let's save this one. Let's go. After that, let's view it in our browser. Now I will not enter anything out here. When I click register, it will show an error message. Now let's go back here again. Name document form validation if name dot value name field. This name is null and the name is equal to empty. Alright, should be 6 if password, else if I have written password dot length. I'm sorry. So let's go back here. Let's try again. If I write here, and then if I write 1 2 3, and then if I click register, minimum password length should be 6. So that's how we can validate the length of a password and so on. So let me try one last time. 1 2 3 4. Alright, it's working fine now. So that's how we can validate different form fields and JavaScript.